Alright guys, so I got some raw purpley-ish looking clay here that I want to try and make into some slip. I'm going to see if I can separate out some of this purple and show you how I go about making my slip. Alright, first step, break it into smaller chunks, toss it in a jar that you can mix it around in. Next step is to fill it up with some water. Next step, once you've got some water in there, mix up your raw clay. You can mix it up with a stick, anything, you can mix it up with your hand, a stick, anything, it really doesn't matter. I'm using this cement mixer, and you'll already kind of get an idea of what color your slip is going to be after you mix this. Alright guys, so it's looking kind of, I guess, purple brownish slip color. We'll see how this plays out. Alright, so after letting this settle for about 10 minutes just to get some of the bigger sediment down, because this was pretty much pure clay where I found this at. So there shouldn't be like any organics or really even any big like pieces of sediment or anything like that, but just let it settle for a few. That'll let the bigger stuff go to the bottom, and then you're gonna get I like to use my pots that I've made, mainly just for really letting this dry out really quick, but I'll get you can get like a bed sheet that you've cut out and you put inside of it, or like a pillowcase or something like that, something with fine threads. That way only the water and stuff gets out and keeps all those finer particles in. So I am going to get a sheet, put it in something that's really porous that can absorb a lot of the water content evenly, which I like to use earthenware pots, and I'm going to pour it in there. There's nothing in here, it's just an earthenware pot, and this is just a clean sheet. Make sure your sheet is clean. You don't want any other clay if you want to keep the same color. So just put it down in here, push down into it. And everything that kind of sticks to the bottom, just let it stay there. And then what you can do is you can tie this up, or I just like to let it sit in here, and all that finer material will start to evaporate. All of that water will start to evaporate. Alright guys, so essentially all you're doing is you're just, if you watch any of my other videos, you're just making and processing like you would just regular clay, or processing wild clay, but you're just going to keep this slip at a higher moisture content. So you don't want it to dry out to where it's workable. I'm going to get this to the point where it's still kind of like putty in my fingers. Maybe not even putty, more like, I guess, like Greek yogurt almost is how I want it. And then I'm going to take that, scoop that out, and put it into another jar and seal that so that I can use that at that moisture content, mainly just for slip decoration, stuff like that. Alright, so it's been about an hour now, a little over an hour, and right there is about the consistency you want it at. So still really moist, still holding a lot of moisture in it, but as you can see, it's very fine. There is no sediment in there. That's another thing I'm looking for this slip. I mean, you don't, in most raw clay that you find in the wild, you'd have to do several processes to really get fine clay. So if you wanted to make your clay finer for the slip, you would have to levigate, which means you would have to mix the clay and then within 5 minutes or so pour that water off the top of that mixture, and you're going to pour that into a cloth like this. So there will be a lot of silt and sediment that would flow down that you essentially wouldn't be getting in there. But since I found this, almost, I mean, it's pretty much just all raw clay. There's might be a little bit of silt in there, but I mean, really all of it is going to be usable for me. So we'll test this. I just found raw clay, mixed it in some water. The main thing is getting the right moisture content, and now I'm going to put it in a mason jar, and I'll use it on my next project, fire it, and show you guys what that looks like. That is the clay slip. I may end up refining it a little bit more, maybe letting some of this dry out, or I still have a little bit more of it. I might just do another batch, but I may do that levigation that I was telling you about so I can get very, very fine clay particles. I may also try making a terra-sig from this as well. There are a lot of things that you can do with raw clay, so, and just clay in general. But I'd like to see how this works, what kind of effects I can get with it, and then we'll try and go finer. So stay tuned to the end of the video to see what it looks like with the slip applied to another natural raw clay. So I've got some purple slip that I made, some raw purple slip, and I just threw this form, and I have a paintbrush. So we're going to apply it and maybe do some carving in this a little bit later and see how it looks. Alright, so all I'm going to do to apply it is make sure that this is thoroughly mixed up. Dip my paintbrush in there, put this on a low spin, and see how it works. a while. It actually looks pretty cool. I think I might just keep the texture on it as well. Honestly, I need to refine this even more. And it's not sandy, but there are still lumps of clay that aren't mixed thoroughly. So what I should do is I should let the rest of the clay that I have, I should let it dry completely, let all the moisture come out, and then do the same steps where you put it in water, you mix it, and the paste should be a lot finer, because there's still, like, this right here is just a lump of clay, and if I grabbed it and squeezed it, it turns into just mush. There is no sand in there, but it's just a lump of clay that I didn't let dry out all the way. I should have let it dry out all the way, and my slip would have been a lot finer. But you can also use levigation to make your slip finer as well. You pretty much just make a clay through levigation, clay body through levigation, and then just get it to the right moisture content. But I like the way this looks, so I am going to keep it as is, and we'll fire it and we'll see exactly what it looks like. You know, if I'm hoping that this stays around the same color, and this orange should stay around the same color, actually maybe pop a little bit more, get a little bit more orange. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you learned something. I'll probably make another video on refining the slip if you guys want to watch that, and firing this piece, just to see what the slip actually looks like. So stay tuned. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching.